Okay.
All righty there, fellow human beings. Craig Martelle coming to you live from the subarctic of Alaska, where it's currently raining in between snowfalls. So we're good. Today we're talking about the Ireland's publishing show on the wild Atlantic side with the show host, Siobhan. Introduce yourself, where are you coming from, and tell us a
Hi,
little bit
Craig.
about the show.
Thank you so much for having me. So I'm coming actually from the Wild Atlantic Way here in County Clare. I'm living in County Clare for the last number of years, and it's on the west coast of Ireland. It's nice views, lots of writers, lots of literature, and yeah, I'm really happy to be here to talk about the show. You got me there?
I got you, and that's. I'm sure we both have internet issues, so if we freeze up, just bear with us. We're
Like,
coming back, and then we'll just look at you until such time as we pop back on, and it's all good. It's all good. Okay, Ireland needed a a self-publishing conference, and Siobhan stepped into the breach, and the charges sent her down range. So, what makes you the right person to run this show?
Okay, so I suppose for the last few years, I have been writing my novel. I'm working on getting it finished. And I've been to a few of your shows, Craig, and I was in Madrid and what got us, I was really lucky to get a scholarship to Vegas. And the knowledge and the people and the support is incredible. It's like it's nothing like I've ever seen before. So you go and people just wrap you in this bubble, and everyone is generous with their knowledge. And like it was just, I can't even, without being there, you can't explain it. It's just like when you say rising tide lifts all boats, like the big guys, the middle guys, they're all like, they're so generous. So like for me to travel to get to the far side of America was a huge job. But I did it. And then I thought, oh, I've gone to Madrid, and then I went to London. I thought, oh, what about if I brought that knowledge and that experience and that feeling back to Ireland? So I've been thinking about it for a little while, and then for 2025, I just took the plunge. I met a few really good guys, no more than yourself, in London, self-publishing show. Kind of said, would you come to Ireland and have a chat and do a talk? They all jumped on board straight away. So like the minute I mentioned it, they were really happy to come, and I knew then I was bringing the right people, and Ireland needs it. So we have a lot of independently published people, or those who'd like to be published, and there's still a little bit of like traditional like snobbery. People are like, oh, maybe I need to get that deal, maybe I need to get an agent, and I really want to show them that there's lots of ways to climb the mountain.
Good deal. Good deal. I'll tell you that running shows, I learned a lot more from running the shows and talking with the guest speakers offline than I ever did from attending sessions. Now, I learned from sessions and stuff like that, but that you absolutely cannot beat surrounding yourself by the right people. So it doesn't get any better than that. And so, yes, absolutely, I believe you're the right person to run the show because you're passionate about it and you're working on a novel that you need help with, whether it's craft
Absolutely.
or marketing or just the business side. All of that's available. And you're coming back to Vegas this year, so we'll see you in a couple weeks. And then I had another thought in there somewhere.
You're going to say, I have to say, and I suppose, well, for me, like when you ask about why the right person, I suppose what I found is when I go to the shows, like the talks are fantastic. Those like talks are great, and you learn loads. But it's between the talks. It's the connections you make between the talks. And what I've been very lucky is, like, I really like to network. So I've gone and I've met the people, and like what you learn, and as you said, like even organizing the show, but even before I was organizing it, I was meeting people. I was meeting the likes of Tony Lee and Stephen Higgs, and just going up and saying hi, having a chat. And they were just like, everyone was so generous with their knowledge. And I wanted to bring that. I wanted people to see you can have that. And like to be in a space in a hotel with these guys for a couple of days, people are going to learn so much.
Every one of your guest speakers is like $1 billion author. So they're going to make a huge impression on anybody who comes. And it's a small show. you're going to max out at what, 250 people. So,
Max it.
and that's if you max and if they all show. And what I learned over the years running the shows, I've run like 20 different shows for authors, is 10% of the people don't show, even though they paid and stuff. So at 250, 225, you've got 20 guest speakers. That's a guest speaker for every 10 attendees. And these are high-powered guest speakers. You've got Sarah Nofke, John Brazy, and you can go through them in a little bit. I mean, those are ones that immediately pop off the top of my head. You've got Steve Higgs, Tony Lee. I mean, it's endless. It's endless with the power, talent, and broad range of genres, which is also important. You can't focus on just one genre, have all sci-fi authors, because that doesn't draw your romance authors. But you've got a little from everything. So let me ask an even harder question than that one. Is County Clare is an awful long way from Dublin, where they brew Guinness. Is the Guinness as good in County Clare as it is in Dublin?
Well, they say in the pub in my little village, which isn't too far from where the conference is on, is one of the best pints of Guinness that you'll get in the world. And it's a little tiny village of like less than 3,000 people, but the pub is class. Yeah, you can come to Clare and you'll get really good Guinness.
Or other local brews that are just as good, if not better. Yeah. All right. Well, good. But you wrapped it just after St. Patrick's Day. What was your thinking on that?
What I was trying to do was, if somebody was traveling in, they could maybe arrive a day or two early and get the whole St. Patrick's vibe. We've been known for a good old parade, and a little bit of green goes on. It's not maybe as I suppose twee as you think, around the world, everything goes green. We're pretty good at the green, but you get to our local pub, and anyone who comes in early will have something informal in this little local pub that in Clarecastle is the village I'm in. And we're going to have something informal, but it'll be like good music there. There'll be good company, good Guinness. And if someone's taking a parade, see a few of the sights. I just thought it was a really nice time. And anyone who's interested in Ireland, loves St. Patrick's Day.
That's great. So St. Patrick's Day is the 17th. The program for your show starts the evening of the 18th, I believe, with like an open meet and greet. Okay. Yeah,
we're going to have a little networking event and a little bit of finger food. The mammy and me means that I'm feeding everyone for the whole 2.5 days. I'm making sure. It's just the Irish mammy thing.
So tell us about the facility. People need to be comfortable with where they're going and that it's accommodating.
Yeah, so it's on at the Inn at Dromoland. It's a really nice hotel. It's a little bit outside of Ennis, so it's kind of set in its own. But the grounds that it's in are actually the same grounds as Dromoland Castle. So there's really good walks. They have a little bit of crazy golf. There is a gym and a swimming pool and everything on site. They do good food. I was going to bring it into the town, but none of the hotels in town would actually be able to facilitate this the same way. So this is a really nice, spacious meeting room. It's got a lovely second room. So we're going to have 2 rooms going. Really nice lobby, just really nice space. And it's like when you look out the windows here, you're going to be looking at green and looking out in the distance of the Shannon Estuary. So it's really nice.
Well, yeah, that's great. And that's exactly what you're looking for. So what kind of space do you have in between the sessions? 15 minutes, 30 minutes?
About 15 for the most part today. I'm doing the schedule up at the moment, so I'm trying to make sure that we have a really good schedule. So, we're covering, there'll be talks. We'll hope to have maybe a couple of workshops, some panel discussions, looking at maybe one of my favorite ones that I'm hoping to do would be like where we look at trad publishing, Kickstarter, indie publishing, and kind of have someone from each area and say like, what's the pros, what's the cons, and give a really good kind of basic view of what publishing looks like now.
That's great. Sounds like a great program. So in between sessions in that 15 minutes, is there any way you can get a beer?
Absolutely.
There? Okay. All right.
I'm just quite decent big bar.
And unfortunately,
Ireland, beer everywhere.
Unfortunately, it's in between major events for me, so I'm not going to be able to come to Ireland for that show. I would love to. I have no doubt it's a great program, but also I'm afraid of getting murdered because it's a village, and as we all know from watching British murder mysteries, that if the villages is where all the serial killers hang out. So how can people not get murdered while they're at the show?
Well, I've actually put a special request in for all the murderers to just leave the village for that few days. You know, I said, there's a lot of writers coming. They're already buzzing with ideas. Like, please leave, so we don't give them to anymore. Yeah, no, it's. I hope nobody gets murdered, but hey, get a book out of it.
Yeah, everybody else will get a book out of it.
The person that's murdered. Yeah.
That's brutal. Brutal.
Brutal.
All right. Sponsorships. I've sponsored 3 people to go to the show. One from I think County Cork. One
That's
from
right.
I believe she's from Manchester or Birmingham. Birmingham,
That's right.
sorry. You don't say the ham. Birmingham. That's so American. And then Elaine Bateman coming over to join you at the show. So talk about how can people sponsor your show?
So, and thank you, Craig, first of all, for your support and your sponsorship, because it gave a great starting lift for us. So yeah, if anybody wants to come and sponsor, give somebody a scholarship to come, like pay for a ticket, maybe like what you did, do a ticket and a couple of nights accommodation. Even if you just want to put 50 quid behind the bar, like, we're open to any sponsorship. We're open to, I want people to come. Like, I got to go to Vegas because of a scholarship. So I'm really like, and it made such difference to my life. It started me on the road where I've made all these really good connections and friends. When I say connections, like, these are people I consider friends now that I didn't know 3 years ago. So if anybody's in a position and they want to do a bit of sponsorship, it means that somebody maybe who can't afford to come, or is like, can do the show but not the flight, or do the accommodation but not the ticket, you're giving them an opportunity to come, giving them a hand up, and it makes a huge difference. It made a huge difference for me personally, so I know it'll make a huge difference to any sponsorship we will take.
Hang on just a second. I'm going to how do people make a so how do people because somebody asked a question, could you provide a link or info about the inn so we can make reservations?
Yeah, so if when you buy a ticket, we have a code we can send you straight away, and that'll get you the discounted rate. Jade is the event. Oh, I don't know what title she gave herself, but she's doing all that hard bit for me. So as soon as somebody registers, she sends them out a full list. There's a link for the hotel. There's a link with a code on it. If anybody has any questions on it, they can reach out to us directly. We're both in the Facebook group. There's a Facebook page and a group. Or just send a message to the show, and they come direct into our phones, so we see them pretty straight away.
Right, there we go. Copied
Thank
the
you.
Facebook group in, copied the where you can get your tickets in. The tickets are what's the cost of a ticket right now?
So early bird are $229, and that includes, so just I suppose what it includes. So the first evening we have the networking event, and there's going to be finger food and everything at that, and it'll be a chance to, once you're registered and chit chat, I suppose, get settled. When you arrive, it's just really nice to get settled. Second day, we start off in the morning sessions, and then we'll have like coffee and a scone mid-morning. There'll be a lunch in the afternoon, and that first evening then we have like a gala sit-down dinner. Again, just, I suppose, get everyone relaxed. And following day, we'll have the scones and coffee in the morning, and then lunch again before we finish up for the afternoon. So, somebody coming, they're not only getting the talk, they're getting the networking, they're getting a sit-down dinner. We're trying to give them all the Irish hospitality.
Excellent. I remember last time when I was in Galway, I asked the a hotel maitre d' or whatever, where can I get some Irish stew? And she's like, you don't want that. That's pub food. I'm like, going to the pub. So I had a Guinness and an Irish stew that was righteous in some underground pub. I mean, the window was like way up here. It doesn't get any better than that. And I've recently flown through Dublin, where they lost my bag, and the lost bag area of Dublin Airport looks like Indiana Jones warehouse. So thanks to above and beyond crazy efforts by Shan Phillips, she got my bag and then brought it to me in Madrid. after I'd already done the train tour around the UK with
I remember.
clothes that I bought thanks to good people who helped me out and took me around. But oh my
It was
goodness, it was
now Shannon Airport is where most people could
Shannon.
come into. So you can come into Dublin. If somebody does arrive into Dublin, there's trains and buses and everything that'll get you down to us pretty quickly. Probably about 2.5 hours in a bus. Not my favorite travel. There is a train that comes down. It will be probably less regular. But if you do come into Shannon Airport, which is just this cool place, and I know I'm a bit biased, but you come into Shannon, you come through security, you're out the door probably in 10 minutes. You want to go back home. Like I'm heading out to Vegas in a couple of weeks. I'll get dropped to Shannon Airport probably about 6:45 in the morning, and I'll have done security and immigration by about 7:15. Like it's fabulous. It's so good. They tend to not lose bags. I can't make that promise, but they tend to not lose bags, and they don't have that big warehouse that Dublin have. So hopefully nobody will lose their bags.
But there's where you want to go. You want to fly into Shannon if
Yeah,
it's at any way possible.
all. Yeah. Even if you have to do like Heathrow Shannon, or like there's a really good flight over. You probably, I'd say if you were to sit in a car, you're about 10 minutes from from Shannon Airport to the hotel. So it's a really, really quick journey. Whereas, as I said, Dublin Airport's probably about 2.5 hours. Cork Airport as well, and there's even Knock Airport. So there's lots of ways to get here, but Shannon would be the preferred choice, I would imagine.
Excellent, excellent. That's great news and great options, because you don't want to go into a big airport with an hour and a half layover and stress out about not being able to make it. Whereas once you land at Shannon, you are golden. You're there. You're within
there.
How far from you? That's in County Clare, right?
Yeah, Shannon Airport is like 10 minutes from the venue. Like it's so
Oh man,
close. It's like you
Uber
sneeze and
taxi.
you'd be there. Yeah,
You chuck
Uber
a few
taxi.
euros, and there you are.
Yeah.
And that price is 229 euros, not pounds. So it's cheaper
Yeah.
than 229 pounds.
Yeah. I think it's almost equivalent by $229. Like the exchange rate, they're kind of what 1-on-1, so it's around that price.
It's
So
not bad. It's not bad. I know I
yeah,
didn't spend a fortune getting the 2 tickets and 2 rooms for 2 days, and then Elaine's ticket and the room for 3 days, because she's coming all the way over from Birmingham.
yeah. I think we're hoping she'll come a little bit early, so we'll do that informal get together in that little local pub on Paddy's Day.
I'm sure she wouldn't mind to survive the village. And you need shirts. I've survived an Irish village that people
Check
can
out the
get on the
Guinness.
way out. Yeah. It doesn't mean you're not getting in this fight, but it does mean that you survive. So how about talking about the guest speakers? What do you have on? You have like 20 guest speakers. Talk.
Yeah, I've 20 guest speakers. The ones that have already been confirmed, I suppose, and the 2 that got on board straight away the minute I asked them, Tony Lee and Stephen Higgs. Very engaging speakers. You know yourself, anyone who's been to see them talk, they're so inspiring, and they're just like, they're really engaged speakers. Like they're very good fun. I have Celeste Barkley come along, James Blach, a couple of Irish girls. I have Lorna Sixsmith come along. So Lorna writes farm books, so very Irish, but she's really good to get media on board. So it's very hard sometimes as indie to get media on board. Then I've Elaine Heaney who's coming, and she does all the in-person events. Oh my God, she's just such a grafter. So, if you physically want to go and set up a booth, she does like 26, 27 of them every year with her kids' books. Again, really interesting. I have Jonathan Brazzi coming. Hybrid, he's going to talk about the difference in the two, and Casey King. So Casey's a newish writer here in Ireland. She's a traditional deal, but she's again going to come and talk from the traditional world. I have Maria McHale, who is a writing coach, had done a lot of writing in papers and journalist-wise. I think Sarah Nofke's coming. I have Paddy Finn coming talking about Kickstarter. God, you put me on the spot now. I don't really remember. There's a few that haven't been announced just yet. So
Great.
we're just want to sneak them out there and kind of build the excitement as well.
I'm glad Patty's coming. He runs $1 million
Yes.
Kickstarters. So if you want to
He's insane.
learn from Patty.
Yeah. Oh, I've Paul Cross coming as well, and he does lots of social media and TikTok, and he's a really good guy from that, and he does kids books. So I suppose, like you were saying, I've kind of gone for very diverse. So I've thriller writers, I've cozy mystery writers, I have kids books, romance. I just trying to keep it as broad as possible, so that if the talk is an inspirational talk and you meet, say, the likes of Stephen Higgs, he's the expert on cozy mystery, and while he'll do one talk, you might want to ask him a question, and it might be in your genre. So that's why I try to keep it as broad. And as you said, Paddy Finn with the Kickstarter, like, I'm so excited for him to come. He's a really good guy. He's really generous as well with his expertise.
And Steve knows marketing. He knows Facebook ads like nobody else. So also a
Unbelievable.
good opportunity. And I think you have James Blach coming over, right?
I've James coming, yeah. He's gonna come. I actually cornered him in Vegas last year, and I was like, "Is there any chance you come to Ireland?" And he was like, "Talked about it." And then at the publishing show in London, I was like, "Oh, I'm still thinking of that thing in Ireland." So he signed up as well, and it's really exciting to have him come, because he's like a world of knowledge, and with all the course and everything they do, he brings another level of expertise. I suppose that it's hard to get, by just doing one thing. You have them all. They're all bringing different exciting topics, and as you said,
Yeah.
even Stephen with the Facebook ads, they all have kind of little. They have their inspiration, but they have the extra skills, and like you couldn't buy that. You couldn't go to one person and get that.
Yeah.
So
And
it's really good.
that's one thing I always strived for with any event I ran, was that anybody I put on stage was already well established as an author in their own right. I wasn't a big fan of putting marketing gurus on there who didn't publish their own books. I know that's
Exactly.
limiting. However, I want successful authors talking to people who want to be successful authors, because they tell them, hey, here's what I did and it worked for me. You pick and choose, and you learn. And it's almost like the scientific method. You learn a process, and then you study, you fail, you do more of what works, and you keep moving forward. And that has helped me immensely, that mindset of treating publishing like project management. Although I love writing books. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
I'm not shortchanging that at all. I love the writing process, and actually, on my current novel, I'm averaging almost 4,000 words a day. So I'm
Wow.
cranking right through that one. But the expertise, you can't beat having a successful author on stage talking to authors who want to be successful.
Absolutely. And I suppose as well, when you're saying there, people, like, you do something and it fails, but sometimes, like, these guys have done that part. Like, they might, it's all great, like, oh, you should do this. But sometimes what I find is they're like, this is a bit you shouldn't do, because I tried that and that was a disaster. And even that is just something that you can't, like, everyone tell you what to do. But sometimes these guys, because they've gone through like the highs and then the odd low, they'll be like, no, don't do this. Or like, be like Steve. Steve's like, finish the books, write the books, get the Facebook marketing done, be like Steve. I think that's his
Yeah,
motto at the minute.
you bet. You bet. What else? What do you want to talk about that I haven't asked you?
I suppose one of the things as well, the inspiration from this has come. Loads of people talk about Edinburgh. Now, I wasn't in Edinburgh at all. Edinburgh was a smaller show. I think one of the first international ones you did.
It
And
was just
people
after
talk
London.
about,
Yeah.
yeah, and people talk about, like, it was just this small show, but like people learn so much more because they had the opportunity to mingle and mix, and it wasn't like, I love the Vegas shows, like, for the last few years being over there with you, but there's so many people, and like, you can make a few connections, but I think when you have a smaller group, you can make the connections a little bit easier, because if you're somebody like, I would be a little bit introverted. Not that many people believe that, but I would be a little bit shy. But I force myself to be less introverted when I go. But if you're anyway introverted, like the big crowds can be a little bit off-putting. Where if you something that's really small, it's easier, and it's easier to get your little group, and then the little group becomes a bigger group. And I think like with the people who are coming, to have them in that small space with around 200 people, it's going to be awesome. And as I said, I wasn't in Edinburgh, but like it's legendary for the connections and people that met. I think you even got a marriage out of Edinburgh. That'd be correct.
Yep, we actually did. It's crazy. It's crazy because I have to tell people that the shows are not meetups and hookups and stuff like that because we're here to talk publishing. However, I mean relationships are established and some people lifelong friends, truly lifelong friends from Edinburgh.
Friends, yeah.
It was a hard show because I was sick as a dog. But it didn't rain. It rained a little bit, but generally the weather was absolutely perfect for us. We had a great venue in that it was the University of Edinburgh, and we had rooms in the hallway in the the dorm. So
yeah, no, it's supposed to be incredible.
Yeah, it worked out very, very well for everybody. And also we had the writing part of it. So we had 7 days. We had 3 days before, 2 days on the weekend that were the show, and then 2 days following where it was more writing.
I was tempted. I was like, oh, should I tack? But not this year. I'm just going to try and get this right. And next year we might tack on a few days of writing, because I think it's a lovely thing to do. And I think when I've left any of the shows I've been, you're like sitting there and you're like, oh God, I really want to write. You're sitting listening to somebody speak, and the instinct is to like go and just get your computer and start writing, because it's very inspirational. But I hope to have that kind of ethos of Edinburgh, where people make the good connections, the lifelong friendships. I'm not promising anyone's going to get married out of it, but I do promise they'll learn lots and lots.
The the benefits of the attaching the writing part to the regular show are incontrovertible. You will benefit greatly. Now, here's the call. You got to come to this year's show to guarantee there's going to be a next year's show, or the 2025 show. And success gives you more opportunity for success. So if we don't get enough attendees at this show, and that's why I got 3 sponsorships, and I might get more come the spring. We'll see how my book sales go. It always depends on my fiction sales, which is where I make my money. And we'll try to fill all the seats, all 250. It's important that people go to a local show like this, because travel's not much. The hotel was inexpensive, to say the least, comparatively, because the Aruba show, the hotel's like $500 a night, but that's something completely different. It's a nice facility and right on the beach. But you can't beat a village in Ireland in the local inn that also has a pub and a restaurant and a great.
I feel like we're writing a book here as we're talking, because you keep murdering people in this little inn.
And no one is going to get murdered. All right,
nobody's going to get murdered. No. But as you said, the hotel is relatively inexpensive. Like, it's 150 a night, but 2 people can share that room. And breakfast, like full Irish breakfast, is the following day. I don't know if you've had a full Irish breakfast, whereas like sausages and rashes, the whole lot will be there. And like it's not, for a couple of nights, it's not expensive, and like it's good facility as well. But I'm really excited for it. And as you said, filling the seats, I suppose for me, even with sponsorship, like I'm not looking for sponsorship to like pay the bills. I'm looking for people to sponsor, so that we get the bums in the seats. We get the people who maybe can't afford to come in there and to learn the knowledge. And
there we go. Everything you need to know about, let's see, Ireland's publishing show on the Wild Atlantic Way. Why did you add in that on the Wild Atlantic Way bit?
Because where I live, that the whole coast on this side is the Wild Atlantic Way, and there's so much to see. Like, someone arriving in, like, we're 25 minutes from the Cliffs of Moher. I don't know if you saw them when you were here, but like they're fabulous. Like, we've all the beaches. Yeah, Galway is 40 minutes away. So, like, if someone's coming for a few days, it's just a really beautiful part of Ireland. The sea does be a little bit cold, but you can still go in for a swim. There's nothing as
Yeah,
refreshing as.
The Cliffs of Moher. If you haven't, if you've watched Harry Potter, you've seen them from that side. You need to see
Right.
them from the top because it's scary as fuck. It's
Yeah,
they're kind of way up there, and it's the wild Atlantic. The Atlantic is a little brutal at that part of the world. It hammers hard, so you don't go
it
casually hang
hammers.
out on the beach.
No, but we do like there's loads of opportunities to go for swim. So there's like this group that go in. There's a place called Spanish Point. It's just down from the Hinge and the Cliffs of Moher, and people swim in there every morning at 9 o'clock, all year round, and it is so cold, but it's so refreshing. So if anyone
Yeah,
wants, I can point you in the right direction for that as well.
that's yeah, believe that. So if you have too much ass, you can go down there and freeze it off.
Yes.
But golf courses, yeah, there's the Castle has a Castle
God,
golf course.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
you want to play, I mean, March may not be optimal, but what kind of weakling are you? My wife and I we got married in Edinburgh on January 4th of 2000, right after Y2K. And on our way from our wedding downtown to have our wedding dinner in a downtown pub, we passed a golf course and there was one Scot holding an umbrella it was 35 degrees, so it was like 1 degree Celsius, the driving rain, and he was holding the umbrella so the other guy could tee off. They were playing golf
Oh
in
my
that.
God.
So either you play golf or you make excuses as to
Excuses.
why you don't play
Why
golf.
not? And we have we've loads of golf around. So there's
Yeah.
like Dromore Castle Golf Course, you've got Shannon Golf Course, you've got Ennis, you can go back to the coast, Lahinge Golf Course. So for any of the golfers, and maybe looking at James Blach when I say that, there's loads of golf around. So yeah,
Yeah.
we can hook you up with most things over here,
But understand County
even in March.
Clare on the west coast of Ireland. Uh, if you can, if it's any way possible, fly into Shannon. Or if you
Shannon,
live in Ireland, just take a train or a bus, drive yourself. You can get there. It's Ireland. I mean, it's not like driving across Alaska,
absolutely.
for
No,
Christ's sake. You can get there. I mean, I when we went to Galway, we flew into Dublin, rented a car, and 2 hours later, we're in Galway. I mean,
yeah,
like it's not going to be overwhelming.
no,
So go there,
and we
enjoy the village, and
enjoy it. Yeah,
yeah,
and it's a good like it's like those who are coming and all of us organizing it. We're all open for any questions. We'll all make sure, this isn't some big thing that's like, oh, there's a massive team. There's a couple of us involved in it. If you have any questions, Jade's in the chat there today. Like if you have any questions or you need tips on getting here, or you can't stay in the hotel and you need some accommodation, like we look after you. We make sure that we can answer any questions, sort out anything, like, so it's very personable, and yeah, it's going to be a really good show. I feel
there
it.
you go. The benefits of a small show, personalized service. You will enjoy it. I have absolutely no doubt. Please making the call again. Sign up. The links are in the comments on the YouTube channel. Drop
Okay.
by and check it out. See how easy it is to get there. Don't tell yourself no before you give yourself a chance to say yes, and you will learn a lot. The guest speaker, looking at that guest speaker list, are you kidding me? You're going to learn something. You should go with your questions. Bring questions and ask the guest speakers. Catch them in between sessions or just outside and skip a session. And this is one thing that you learn is that if you're talking to somebody who has answers for you and somebody who's been there, you might not make that next session because you're learning everything you need to know right there. So don't fail at networking saying, "Oh, sorry, hi, I'd like to talk to you, but I got to go to this session." Don't miss out because that networking is incomparable, especially at small events.
Unbelievable, and don't be afraid to go and say hi. That's what I learned. And people used to laugh when I would like meet somebody and I'd be like, hi, can I take a selfie? And my friends will think of it mad, but take a selfie. And then I would reach out and send the selfie and say, hi, really nice to meet you. And that would be it. And then the next show I would meet that person and they'd say, hey, Siobhan. I'd say, how's it going? And we'd have a little chat. And, the very first day I met Stephen Higgs and I was a massive fan. I mean, massive.
That's
I
great.
we read all these books, and I just like fangirl so hard I could hardly talk. And it was like it was really funny like back then. But it was like hi, and I was like, I read all your books, and he just sat and he had like 20-minute conversation and chat to me about my writing, and he was just so generous with his time. And that's what you'll get at those conferences.
And on that,
Unbelievable.
we'll end the note, because that is what it's all about, especially a small show. Get your ass to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day and stay for the show.
Yeah.
Peace, fellow
Thanks
humans.
for having me. Thanks a million.
Stay on.